Jack,
Yes, Brian.
there's money in obituaries, Jack.
Yes, you've mentioned this in the past. Why don't you explain to listeners what you're talking about?
What I'm saying is, people die and it's very sad, and their loved ones want to celebrate their memory, so they pay podcasters to read obituaries,
Right,
so
sort of the
that
modern
and
day of posting it in the newspaper.
that's right.
Mhm.
Newspapers are all dead.
Yep.
Nobody reads them anymore. It's all podcasts,
Yep.
and obituaries have gone to the podcast, and you can make really good money reading obituaries on here. And they sent me a few obituaries that they would like you to read in the hopes that you can get through one with the gravitas that it deserves, and celebrate the life of these individuals who have passed recently.
Well, of course, I want to do. I mean, the money is obviously very important to me. Money comes first in all things, but I also secondarily I want to honor these people who have passed. I want to give. I want to, like you said, celebrate their life with, some good positive energy. But also, I want to have that gravitas because I know that these families are suffering a great loss.
Gravitastic. Then I just sent you the script.
Okay,
Which
the
isn't a
script.
script.
Right.
It's an audition, Jack. I have scripts on the brain. I
Right.
sent you I sent you the, it's not an audition. I just said audition. I have auditions and scripts on the brain. I sent you the obituary. I just sent
Mhm.
you the obituary.
Okay, I've just opened it. Let me just give it a quick read through so
You
I don't
can't
mess anything up.
obituaries, when somebody's grieving, you need to make them feel better right away. So just get the obituary out there in the open. There's no real reason to read it.
Okay, I mean, if that's gonna help their suffering, then
It
sure.
does help alleviate the suffering.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Please take her away.
Okay. Todd Jaylee, 53, of Parker Heights, Texas, passed away July 26th. He was born March 7th, 1968, in Evansville, Indiana, to Bob Jaylee and Agatha Denton. He graduated from Sylvester Stallone High School in 1986 and joined the United States Army, retiring after 25 years of service. While in the Army, Todd was honored to have come up with the name Operation Desert Storm for the 1991 expulsion of Iraqi forces from Kuwait. His subsequent naming attempts were not as successful, but Operation Blow Up That White Toyota with a Drone and Operation Let's Just Stay Here for 2 decades did get honorable mention at the annual Operation Naming Awards. Todd was a loving father to his daughter Katie and always said that she was the result of his greatest undertaking of all, which he called Operation Wife Hump. Todd doted on Katie. Whenever he traveled, he would take Katie's favorite doll, Fred the Flamingo, with him and text her a picture of Fred on the trip. Katie will always have the photo memories of her dad and Fred the Flamingo visiting the Eiffel Tower in Paris, London Bridge, the Hollywood sign in California, Red Square in Moscow, and, if the phone is ever found, possibly Fred the Flamingo visiting the Amazon. It was there that the Lord chose to summon Todd by having his body penetrated by a dozen substantially produced arrows, painstakingly crafted by the carbon neutral indigenous Brazilian tribe that mistakenly blamed Todd for recent deforestation. Until now, Todd was called the luckiest Jaylee because everyone in his family preceded him in death: his wife, mother, father, 2 sisters, 5 brothers, and his best friend Barnaby Wanker, whose suicide was due to bullying. He was so lucky at not dying that at the end of his life, Todd had no one aside from Katie, and she is now utterly alone. So sad. A GoFundMe will be thrown together to raise money for Katie, which she may or may not get. Who wrote that for Katie?
I don't know. Maybe Katie wrote it. I don't know. I don't.
Yes.
They just send them to me and they say, "Would you please have Jack read for this?"
Oh man.
Well, it's sad. I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
Substantial. They weren't. It wasn't sustainable arrows. It was substantial.
Oh,
Huh.
okay. Well,
What
sorry.
happens when you don't read something?
Well, I'm not
Mistake.
allowed to read ahead of
Mistake.
time. Okay.
It's okay.
Look,
There's another obituary we
look,
can read.
I do respect his work in Operation Wife Hump, which is a mission I've been trying to run for the last 10 years, mostly very unsuccessfully.
Well, yeah, I mean, the mission accomplished banner was waved many years ago, and so you're done.
I sure am. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay, I just sent it to you. You should have it.
Okay, my
Honor the
apologies to
memory.
the last family. Okay,
Gravitas.
honor the memory. Here we go. Gravitas. Jody Kearns, age 54, of Ridgeboro, North Carolina, passed away peacefully August 4th at his home. with his faithful German shepherds, Chief Wiggum and Mr. Bixby, by his side. Jody was born on October 8th, 1966, to the late Charles Kearns and Sybil Odell in Gainesville, Georgia. His parents were ahead of their time, and upon seeing that they had a beautiful and healthy baby boy, they named him Jody, a girl's name, just in case he ever suffered from gender dysphoria. Jody was a phenomenally skilled woodworker, specializing in building craftsman furniture. Craftsman being the name of the style, and not the crappy tool brand from Sears. Jody loved the outdoors more than anything, which is ultimately why his wife Carlotta left him. He loved to go for long hikes in the woods, sometimes deliberately getting lost in order to teach himself how to find his way home. During one 3-week stint lost in the woods, Jody became acquainted with all the best hunting and fishing sports, making him Ridgeboro's go-to man if you were looking for a guide. His work as a guide earned him many great compliments, such as, "Wow, you sure know where the fish are," and "Wow, you sure know where the deer are." Jody's true passion was the rescuing of dogs, and his lifelong dream was to raise enough money to build an animal shelter so that he could help man's best friend find their forever homes. And that's why it's kind of messed up that Chief Wiggum and Mr. Bixby ate his face after he died. Jody is survived by two face-having sisters, Dinah Van Welt of Tybee, Florida, and Daria Rubin of Atlanta, Georgia, and many nieces and nephews who all have faces. His beloved Chief Wiggum and Mr. Bixby need a forever home. Just know that if you're lying dead on the kitchen floor, there's a chance they will eat your face. No services are scheduled, but if anyone wants to continue Jody's dream of building a dog shelter, there's a pile of 2x4s and some chicken wire behind the garage. Hmm.
It's a terrible fate befell a dog-loving man.
It's a terrible story. I'm sad that we are reading this on a podcast that's meant to make people happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens. Death is a fact of life, Jack.
It really is. It's weird that they would need to make the Craftsman comment about Sears in an obituary. Like,
Yeah,
why?
not the best quality tools.
Oh, yeah, I know, but that's sort of not my point. But okay, fine.
I
I
sent you a
assume we have
few.
another.
Yep, I sent it to you, and we've got a chance to make some money.
Okay, all right, all right.
Gravitas.
Gravitas. This one's for all the money. Tell me when to go.
You take it away.
Okay. Nika Morris died very unexpectedly Thursday after a brief struggle with law enforcement. She was 31. Nika attended Kingfield High School for several months, preparing her for a career carrying packages for Douglas Lucky D. Harrison. Anyone, or just a quick glance, would tell you that Nika loved nothing more than to eat caloric foods while seated in an automobile owned by a guy with 6 outstanding drug warrants. She absolutely adored passing the time by smoking cigarettes in the drive-through line. She was an avid collector of misdemeanors as well as a few felonies, because just as with caloric, low nutrition foods, her craving for petty larceny and possession of forged instruments was limitless. Wherever she went, she left a big impression on the sofa, a stained mattress, or the driver's seat of a 2017 Camaro owned by a guy with 6 warrants. Her mom said to know Nika was to love her, unless you were a police officer discovering that she was driving with no license and in possession of a Class A narcotic and an illegal firearm. At moments like that, Nika's life suddenly had purpose, and she would not only develop the inner strength to resist the electrical charge from your taser, but she would devote herself to trying to relocate several rounds from her illegally obtained pistol into your chest. Oh. Had she spent more time training with her firearm, she would be with us today, alive and incarcerated. But she was immediately peppered with several rounds from Officer Lake's service pistol. She's now in heaven, eating with the angels. A celebration of her life will be held Friday for some reason. I,
That ain't
no,
gravitas, sir.
no offense to. I mean, just the way that was worded. A celebration of her life will be held Friday for some reason. That's not. I'm not going to get blamed for that, am I?
No, you were just reading the writing, but unfortunately, you didn't give it the gravitas it needed. It really needed to be, I would have done it like a celebration of her life will be held Thursday for some reason. Just serious gravitas. It's sad.
Yeah, I know it's sad.
All right, well, it's fine. It's fine. These offers come, and you will snatch one. You will give it the gravitas.
How about
And
you read one?
eh, they kind of prefer you. They want your voice. They always say that I sound too professional, polished. They want like the everyman voice, and
Mhm.
that's not something I can do.
Right, right, you're too much of a good broadcaster.
Right. See, that was an Irish accent.
That's really good. You have a lot of talent. Is that
Thank
your
you, Mary.
SNL audition?
Yeah, is Lauren watching?
I assume he is.
Um, all right. Well,
Well,
I guess
gosh.
it's yours and all that and stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you
Well,
for the emails are nice. Thank you.
yeah, we get a lot of nice emails. Well, again, apologies to all the families who I've hurt today.
That's okay. You're forgiven.
Oh, good.